Lamar Jackson. This has been weird. You don't get like, an athlete in their prime and a stable organization having an ugly negotiation very often. Lamar Jackson sent out a letter. He said, March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens. They've not been interested in meeting my value. I love the game of football. Thanks, Raven fans, for everything. So, the question immediately is, what's the market? Well, here's the thing we've talked about with Lamar Jackson. We said it last week. It's very Kawhi Leonard. It's very unorthodox. He uses a family member as an agent. He's non-trusting, and it's odd. It's just not the way generally it goes. It makes it tougher for the league. It makes it tougher for the player. It makes it tougher for the team. Baltimore's looking at it very simply. We like you a lot, but we won before you. In the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning eras in the AFC, Baltimore was 15-8 in the playoffs with 2 Super Bowls. Flacco and Dilfer. They're like, we love you. We won Super Bowls with those guys in the Brady era, in the Peyton Manning era. And Lamar is 1-3 in the playoffs since 2018. No quarterback that has had multiple playoff games has a worse passer rating or a worse completion percentage, and now he's noisy, and now he's hurt. And I'm not saying Lamar's unrealistic. He's a dynamic player that wins 75% of his games. I think Atlanta, the Colts, Washington, New England, Tennessee, if the Aaron Rodgers thing falls apart with the Jets, you got to look. Atlanta, to me, I said this last week, cap space, an offensive coach, weak conference and division, and their star tight end and star receiver, you don't have to pay him for 3 years. Lamar Jackson in Atlanta feels like a home run, but he's got the injuries. He's unorthodox. There's the money. If he wants a fully guaranteed contract, folks, there's just not much of a market for him. There's not. Well, Deshaun Watson, I know. And Kirk Cousins got a guaranteed deal. It didn't mean the Patriots and the Packers had to copy him. Yes, Deshaun Watson was overpaid and fully guaranteed. The Ravens are like, why would we follow the Browns? They're a tire fire. We're the Ravens. We're 15-8, 2 Super Bowls in the Brady and Manning era. So I think Baltimore looks at it and thinks, we'd love to sign you, but we're not going fully guaranteed. Think about it simply. It's a big company with a lot of success before you, the employee, showed up. You show up, you're dynamic, and they love you. But they were very successful without you. You've gotten a little unorthodox, not had quite the high-level success the company hoped, and now you want a fully guaranteed deal because a poorly run company across the street did it to their employee. And Baltimore's like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to cave. We'll give you a contract. It'll be a good contract. But if you're not guaranteed to play on Sunday, we're not guaranteeing all the money, which I think is completely realistic. But I also think Lamar Jackson looks, because he doesn't have a super powerful agent, he looks at the market and goes, look at what Deshaun Watson got. I'm better than him. And he is better than him. So that's the situation today. Remember, Aaron Rodgers and Brady, Tom Brady left New England. He had 2 teams after him. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a market. So when you're expensive, you've been hurt, and you kind of do business from an unorthodox style. And here's the thing. I've learned this with kids. I got 6 different kids, step kids, biological kids. They're all different. Some are more emotional. Some are more thin-skinned. Some are more sensitive. And I see this all the time. It's not a bad thing. But Kawhi Leonard does not trust kind of the system. I think Lamar Jackson tends to be a little untrusting. That's why he took his mom as an agent. Or Kawhi took his uncle as an agent. Maybe they're non-trusting, a little sensitive. I'm here for it. Like, everybody's different. But I do think it can hurt your value, especially on the heels of Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray, that teams look around. This has always been a copycat league. Everybody looks around, and you're like, we don't want to get into an Aaron Rodgers situation. We don't want to get – the Packers are like, we'll take Jordan Love. We don't even know if he's any good. We're going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, who's won 2 MVPs in 3 years. We want to get out of the drama. So the question is this recent drama for Lamar, is it just temporary, or is this who he is? Because if it's who he is, I can see the market shrinking even more. When Mahomes goes on the market, all but about 3 teams would be interested. The Chargers got their guy, Buffalo's got their guy, Cincinnati's got their guy. But now, if let's say you added a lot of injuries to Mahomes, the market shrinks. He wants fully guaranteed. It kind of shrinks. He's gotten unorthodox. It kind of shrinks. So I think the lack of playoff success, the demands for a guaranteed contract, it's shrinking. Very few players, I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care if it's movies. Not every director wants to work with every movie star. That's okay, too. And your market shrinks based on what you're demanding. How easy are you to work with? Can we find the right people around you? I think Atlanta fits. Hey, listen, New England has everything needed to win a Super Bowl except speed and playmaking. They could solve it with Lamar Jackson. I said this last week. They got the coach, the defense, the special teams, the culture. They got cap space. I mean, to me, if I'm New England, I'm not beating Josh Allen with Mac Jones. I don't know if I can beat Mike McDaniel consistently. If Aaron goes to the Jets, New England's got everything but playmakers and speed. You could solve both with one guy. I think New England, right now, New England's Super Bowl odds are like plus 6,000. That's worse than the Saints. So, I mean, if you could, maybe Bill Belichick wants to slowly get to the most wins ever for a coach and get 7 to 8 a year, or you can get 12 with Lamar Jackson. So I think you have to absolutely seriously consider that if you're New England. But I think Baltimore's looking at it, and I think they're being very reasonable. In the Brady Manning era, 15-8 in the playoffs and 2 Super Bowls. Flacco got us one. Dilfer got us one. I mean, we watched at the end of last year, they were on second and third string quarterbacks, and they gave the Cincinnati Bengals, who I really believe could be the second best team in the NFL, at worst third, they gave them fits with Joe Burrow. Absolute fits. Needed a quirky defensive touchdown, did the Bengals, or they could have lost to the Ravens with a second, third string quarterback. So Baltimore's saying, we're not selling the farm here. And this is getting personal. How do I know it's getting personal? Because Lamar Jackson dropped this tweet this morning at the exact same time that John Harbaugh in the NFL meetings was going to speak in the coaches' meetings. Somebody in that room tipped him off. Somebody in the organization tipped him off. Harbaugh goes to the podium. Boom. Lamar drops it. So it's personal. And you don't want it to be personal. It generally doesn't get personal. But in both instances, I get Lamar looking at Deshaun's contract and saying, look what that guy got. Who's that guy? He's right. He's better. And I get the Ravens saying, we're a good company. We win a lot of different ways. We've won Super Bowls with defense. We're not giving you a fully guaranteed contract. So I read one story this morning that said the Colts, with that number 4 pick, remember, Baltimore gets 2 first-round picks the minute they give up Lamar. So Baltimore's saying, we'll go get our quarterback. Keep your eye on the Colts, number 4 pick. Colts could go, all right, let's get cheap at quarterback. Let's redo it. Let's go find the next Lamar. Very possible. But this is fun. This is really good. Is it not? J-Mac, what do you make of it?
Loving it. I do want to push back a little bit on what the market is for him. So we had Aaron Rodgers, not a big market. Well, he's 39 years old.
That's true.
Russell Wilson, not a big market. He's 33. Remember last year?
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson just turned 26, Colin.
And
he is entering the prime. I know the injuries behind him.
Well, that's not don't just throw it, the injuries are he's young and hurt. And it's like NBA centers. Young and hurt doesn't get old and healthy. So Russell Wilson didn't have a history of injuries. Aaron had a collarbone surgery. Yeah. And in the last 22 games, he's missed 10.